अपूर्व अवसर एवो क्या रे आवशे। अपूर्व अवसर एवो क्या रे आवशे। थैशु बायांतर निर्ग्रंथ जो सर्व संबंधनु बंधन तीक्षण छेदिने विचर शुकव महत पुरुष ने पंथ जो अपूर्व अवसर एवो क्या रे आवशे। अपूर्व अवसर एवो क्या रे आवशे।
So I formally welcome one and all. I request our department students to begin the meeting with our Namokar Mantra prayer. So I would like to call Chanda for the Namokar Mantra prayer. जय जिनेन्द्र।
ॐ नमो अरिहन्तानम् ॐ नमो सिद्धानम् ॐ नमो आयर्यानम् ॐ नमो वज्रायानम् नमो लोये सवसाहुनम् नमो लोये सवसाहुनम् ऐसो पंच नमोकारो सव पावपनासनो मंगलानां च सवेसिं परमं हवै मंगलम् ॐ नमो अरिहन्तानम्। One quotation from Srimad Rajchandraji prayer. Dechataini sota varte dehani dehani na charanama ho vandana agani. Jai Jani.
The meaning of the prayer was, living in the body, they experience the bodiless soul. Bow down to all the great gurus who experience the pure soul. On behalf of the University of Madras, Department of Jainology, I extend a warm welcome to the external examiner, Professor Manikandan sir from AM Jain College, Department of Philosophy. He is there as an assistant professor, and the the university has appointed him to conduct the public Viva Voce examination of Preet Doshi. So I welcome him, and we are thankful to him for having gone through the entire thesis of Preet Doshi and collected his remarks, and he's going to present it, and then he'll be conducting the Viva Voce. As associate professor and head of the Department of Jainology, and being an alumni of the department, I've done my MA, MPhil and PhD in the department way back in 1997 and appointed as HOD in 2009. And I would say that this is my 8th PhD under me. So I have come a long way, the department has come a long way, and Preeti also has come a long way. I think 10 years of tireless hard work. She has done the PhD, and today she is waiting for the day for the Viva Voce when she'll be given the doctorate. So I'm sure she'll do her presentation beautifully, and she's a guest faculty in the department and very passionate, and it is because of her that the department started a paper, The Legend of Srimad Rajchandra, and we have been teaching the Srimad's philosophy in the department for almost 10 years now. So that contribution, that punya goes to Preet ma'am for having inspired us to take up this paper. Before that, we were not doing this paper. We had the Shvetamba literature, the Digambar literature all covered up, Indian philosophy, Prakrit language, dialective soft skills. But she has enriched the department as a student, as a teacher, and now as a researcher. So, and what to say about Apūrva sir? What to say about Apūrva sir? We have in the department 60 full-time students studying about Apūrva sir. And Atma Siddhi Shastra. Almost every year 30 students study now, and there are so many other elective soft skill students. Right now there are 5 Christian students doing Jainism with Preeti sir, and I request Manikandan sir to please come forward and conduct the public Viva Voce examination of Preeti.
To the University of Madras for being given an opportunity, and to Priya Darshana madam for referring me as an external examiner. And right from the day when the thesis has been given to me, even in waking state, in dream state, the Apūrva has been going on in my mind, and so it is wonderful reading. I really appreciate Preeti for her contribution. Now I request her to present her Viva Voce examination within 25 to 30 minutes, and after that we will have a discussion. Now the forum is open to you now. Good afternoon.
Jai Jinendra, and good morning to one and all present over here. My humble salutations to Panchparmeshri Paramatma and Srimad Rajchandra. My name is Preet Doshi, and my public Viva Voce presentation is on analytical study of Apūrva, which is one of the beautiful poem of Srimad Rajchandra. Now I will begin my presentation. So my defense thesis presentation will run up to 20 slides. And I have done it under the guidance of Dr. Priya Darshana Jain. And first we'll see the overview of my thesis. I have divided my thesis in the 7 chapters. And before that, I am going to give you the overview of my thesis, and in which I have discussed about all the details like need for the study. It will be followed by the statement of the problem, objectives of my research work, limitations and summarization of chapters, and finally there will be the conclusion of my thesis. Coming to the next, let us know about the need for the study. So first of all, I would like to state the need for the study. So we understand that every living being is in search of happiness, right? And we have all the access to all the material things in the world. Wherever, whatever we have, but whatever we have, are we truly happy with all that? Whereas Kirtankar Bhagwan, Muni Bhagwan, they don't have anything. Are they not happy? So now we have to understand, happiness is just the state of mind. And one cannot attain this state of uninterrupted bliss if one is ignorant of the soul. So Lord Mahavira in Acharan Sutra he has so told, Je ekam jhane, so sabam jhane. And even Srimad Rajchandra formally says in Vachnamrut, Jene Atma jhanyo, tene sarva jhanyo. That means one who knows the self knows everything. So knowing the self is the real happiness. So now the problem was how to find that real happiness. So I found Apūrva, which is a sacred and spiritual poem, and as it sings the glory of self-realization and renunciation, so that could be the real source of happiness. Now, as I told you earlier in the statement of the problem, I have given my objectives. So in the overview of my thesis, I have given the objectives. So based on that objectives, now we'll discuss about objectives of my research work. So prime objective of my research is to discover the hidden truth behind all the religious activities, and to find out the delusion, perversion, and how to understand the importance of Apūrva. So following are my objectives. Firstly, first objective is to briefly discuss the life, time, and works of Srimad Rajchandra, who is the poet of Apūrva. With that intention in mind, I have constructed the chapter 1, that is called Life and Works of Srimad Rajchandra. Then secondly, to explore the essence of Apūrva, and to build a bridge between spirituality and religion, I have constructed the second chapter, that is called Apūrva and analysis of Apūrva. Thirdly, to explore the spiritual ladder of Gunasthan and other related concepts which are imbibed in Apūrva Avasara, I have constructed my third chapter that is called Gunasthan and Philosophical Concepts of Apūrva Avasara. Next, to analyze Apūrva Avasara from the prism of four Anuyogas, I have constructed the fourth chapter which is called as the Apūrva Avasara and Anuyog. Next, to analyze Apūrva Avasara from the prism of four Anuyogas, I have constructed the chapter 4 by name Apūrva Avasara and Anuyog. Then, to evaluate Apūrva Avasara from the literary point of view, chapter 5, literary appraisal of Apūrva Avasara was done. Then, to substantiate and analyze the data which I obtained from survey conducted and to know how many followers of Srimad understand Apūrva Avasara from the different perspective, I have constructed the chapter 6, data analysis and interpretation. And finally, to seek inspiration through the research and to evolve, I have constructed the last chapter by name conclusion. And along with that, I have written all the details regarding the findings, summary, observation and contribution. If you ask my contribution, then my contribution to this existing stock of knowledge is analysis of Apūrva Avasara, that is second chapter. Then fourth chapter, analysis which I have looked at from the prism of four Anuyogas. And the lastly, literary appraisal of Apūrva Avasara, that is fifth chapter. So this is my contribution to my thesis. Now let us see the glimpse of all the chapters. In my first chapter, I have given the detail about Srimad Rajchandra. So Srimad Rajchandra, who lived 155 years before, he was a visionary, a profound thinker, a powerful orator, a soulful writer, great spiritualist and a true yogi, that is yogi par excellence. So he wrote beautiful spiritual works both in the prose and poetic form, which are very famous among his followers, and they are sung worldwide. Now we can see that Atma-Siddhi Shastra, and he had very short lifespan of just 33.3 years. And in that short lifespan, he has given lots of compositions, among which Apūrva Avasara and Atma-Siddhi Shastra are very famous. And I have worked on that thing only. So in this chapter, I have given all the details about his life biography, and along with that, I have replied to the queries like, what is Apūrva Avasara? Why one has to study Apūrva Avasara? Why Jeev is suffering in this samsara? All that questions has been replied in this chapter. Then along with that, I have given the detail about the language, the style of Apūrva Avasara. Then all the details about the ritual commentaries and discourses are available in Apūrva Avasara. All that details I have given in this chapter. So now let us see. Before going in depth regarding the analysis of Apūrva Avasara, let us see the meaning of Apūrva Avasara. As you can see, Apūrva Avasara, the word Apūrva is made up of two words, A and Purva. So the word A in Hindi means not, and Purva means any time before. And Avasara here it means the golden opportunity. It is not a chance, it is the golden experience that the Jeev has to experience in their lifetime. So which Jeev has not dawned in their life till today. So that all the details it has been coded in Apūrva Avasara. So that is the detail about my first chapter. Coming to the next, my second chapter. As it talks about the Apūrva Avasara and analysis of Apūrva Avasara. So as we can see, there are so many commentaries, discourses which are available on Apūrva Avasara, but they all are mostly in the Gujarati and Hindi language. However, very little work on Apūrva Avasara is in systematic way it is done in English. So I felt that there is a need to work on Apūrva Avasara. So in order to bring out all the details which are there in the Apūrva Avasara, I have constructed my second chapter. And as you see in the slide, I have given Apūrva Avasara with its original script, and then I have translated and transliterated the Apūrva Avasara in English language, and that becomes a part of my annexure 1. Now coming to the next, let us recite the first verse. Apūrva Avasara evo pyare avashe, pyare thaishu bayantar nirgranthijo, sarva sambandhan bandhan tikshna cherive, vicharshu kava mahat purushne panthijo. So like that all the 21 verses, beautiful verses are there. which you all of you can sing whenever you get the chance. So now coming to the next chapter, it is Gurusthan and other philosophical concepts of Apūrva also. As we know, the soul has inherent capacity for emancipation, but this capacity remains dormant and inactive until it is aroused by the spiritual exertion. And that spiritual exertion, that detail which has been given in the Agamas, it is in the name of Gurusthan. And that thing it has been given in the Apūrva in the poetic form. So Apūrva is also named as Gurusthan Krama Arohan. Now apart from the Gurusthan, there are so many other concepts which I have taken it from the poem. And it was immense pleasure to read the works of Srimad Rajchandra. Whatever he had given in his work, I have mentioned, I have traced out all the details and I have put it in the form of a chart like this. So like this, there are so many concepts and all the concepts I have given in this form of chart and other along with the explanation. So it will be easy for any lay person to know what Srimad talks about any particular concepts. And as you can see here, there are so many other concepts. Mithyatva, Karma, Nirgranthood, Parigraha, Kashay, Sanyam, Dhyan, Moksha, all the important concepts I have taken. So this is the glimpse of my third chapter. Now coming to the fourth. Apūrva Avasara and Anuyog. As I told that I have looked Apūrva Avasara from the Anuyog point of view. So we find that both the Digambar and Svetambar tradition, they believe in Apūrva Avasara. They follow Apūrva Avasara. But there is a little change in the name, variation in the names, what both the tradition they follow. So Apūrva Avasara actually is a beautiful methodology of interpreting the Jaina scriptures or the literatures, which I loved so much. As a result, I have taken that as in my thesis work. So when a literature can be seen from the narrative point of view, it is called as Prathamanuyog. And then when the literature, it is seen from the practical point of view, that is the contact point of view, then it is called as Charnanuyog. Then from the metaphysical point of view, if it is seen, then it is called as Karnanuyog. And finally, when the deep literature are looked from the deep philosophy and spirituality, then it is called as Dravyanuyog point of view. So in this chapter, each and every stanza of Apūrva Avasara, which are 21 in number, I have taken all the stanzas and I have explained it from the Anuyog point of view. So even the Srimad has given detail about the Anuyog. He says, one can study Dharmakathanuyog when one is agitated with passions. One can study Charnanuyog when one is not steady on the path that they have chosen. Gaditanuyog when one feels materialistic, and Dravyanuyog when one is doubtful about the existence and about the soul. Now, let us see the sample of each Anuyog. So here I have given the 4 samples. These all the samples I have taken from the Apūrva Avasara, from the poem Apūrva Avasara. So as we see the verse 1, sample 1, it is from the verse 1.4, which says, Vicharashokava Mahat Purushne Panthijo. So that means here Srimad is saying, singing that when the day will come, when I will tread on the path which is shown by the Tirthankaras, enlightened seers. So here he is talking about the story of all the great personalities, all the Tirthankars and all the enlightened souls. So it is talking about the life story. So it is the subject of Prathamanuyog. Now coming to the next sample, it is from verse 5.1. It says, Sanyamna hetuti yoga pravartana. So here Srimad says, I want to take all the activities of mind, body and speech just to strengthen my sanyam, just to strengthen my restraint. Whereas what we do, we take all the activities just for the worldly pleasures. And as a result, which leads to the bondage of karma. But here Srimad says, I don't want to do any of these activities, and he is yearning to take sanyam. So that is the subject of Charnanuyog. Now coming to the third sample, verse 15.1, it says, Char karma dhan ghati te vyavachedijya. So here Srimad is talking about the karma, 4 types of karma, which are ghati karma. And destruction of that karma will lead to the annihilation of karma, and because of that, the jiva can get the emancipation. So here clearly there is a detail about the calculation of karma. So it is a subject of karna. Now coming to the last verse, last sample, that is verse 3.2. It says Deha bhinna keval chaitanyadu nanjo. So here truly we can see that we can say that we are not the body, we are not the senses, we are not the mind. Then who are we? We are Chaitanya. We are pure soul. We are Nata Grasta Bhav. But we have never looked from that point of view. As a result, we are always binding the karma. So if one understands this philosophy, and then it is one can be able to realize the self. So that is nothing but the purely talks about the Dravyamyo point of view. Now coming to the next chapter. As I told you, I have made a literary appraisal. Okay? So I have tried to trace all the verses of Apūrva Avasara from the, I have interpreted all the verses from the Navara's point of view. Okay? So it is found that Apūrva Avasara basically, it is maintained with the Shantras. That is basically the Hitesh Bhav is more prominent throughout the Apūrva Avasara. And then again, other all rasas are nothing but the Mohniya Karma ke no kashan. Then coming to the next, I have looked Apūrva Avasara from the Chand and Alankar point of view. So each and every verse I have taken the calculation and I have done calculated the meter of Apūrva Avasara, and it is found that any particular meter it is not going through. So it is not following any particular chand, so it is a mukta chand. And apart from that, I have seen, you can see on the slide so many alankar, shabda alankar, artha alankar, we have found it in Apūrva Avasara. And all these details I have given in my thesis, and the working of all the gathas I have given in my annexure. Now coming to the sixth chapter. As you can see, data analysis and interpretation. So any thesis work will be called as a perfect if it is done from the qualitative point of view and quantitative point of view. So till chapter I have done qualitative point of view. Now in this chapter, sixth chapter, I have done it is from the quantitative point of view. So both the methods I have applied. So I have prepared a questionnaire related to Apūrva Avasara. So this chapter deals with the survey analysis that I conducted in December 2017 to establish the need for analytical study of Apūrva Avasara. Then I constructed the questionnaire in all the three languages, Hindi, English and Gujarati, because many followers of the Srimad, they were not familiar with the English language. So I had to calculate, done in all the languages. Then I have circulated that on the monkey survey for 1 month. It was circulated to all the places, many places of India, and almost it was given to only the followers of Srimad, to that groups, because one who knows Apūrva Avasara, they can only answer these questions. So I have circulated like that, like Jamshedpur, Calcutta, Chennai, Mumbai, like so many places, including Dubai. Apart from that, whatever the data that I have collected, based on the responses I have collected, I have analyzed all this through SPSS method, that is statistical package of social science. And through that, I have constructed all in this chart form, and along with the explanation I have given. So whatever the queries I have received, and I have given the interpretation and inference of all the queries which are given by the which I have taken, and the same thing I have given in the summary, in my summary. Now coming to the last chapter. 7th chapter is my conclusion. So this gives an in-depth knowledge of Apūrva Avasara, and I am very happy that I could relate the poem with the teachings of Sarvagya, Keval Gnani. So there are some points which I have covered in this chapter. It says the Samyak Darshan is the key to end all the sufferings of mundane existence. So same thing in Srimad Rajchandra is given in the letter number 569, in which he says સર્વ ક્લેશ અને દુઃખથી મુક્ત થવાનું કારણ એક આત્મજ્ઞાન છે, ઉપાય એક આત્મજ્ઞાન છે. So only the self-realization is the solution to end all the sufferings. So the motto of the Jeev should be to get the self-realization, and then only one can realize that own pure soul, own real nature. Secondly, it says a jnani samyak drashti has no interest in rag, because Srimad in verse 100 in Atmasiddhi Shastra he says that rag dvesh ajnaan hai, mukhya karma nigrati, થાય નિવૃત્તિ તે ભી તો છે જીવ અબંધ. So attachment, aversion are the main reason for the jeev to bind in this sansar. And if one wants to get out of this, then they have to go under the shelter of spiritual guru and then do the right purusha, then surely they can come out of this bandh state. Then they can become a bandh. Now the next point says, the very thought of asceticism is also the reason for the bondage of karma. Yes, asceticism is very important. And if it is taken from the dravya point of view, only from the external point of view, then it surely leads to the bondage of karma. Yes, it is auspicious karma, but it leads to the karma. So what is our motto? What is the motto that if we want to get emancipation, then no karma. All the karma should be annihilated. So the solution is that one has to attach the value of the pure soul. Then only one can be able to come out of that thing and one cannot find any karmas. And next, Srimad says, if one thinks he is defeated, then surely he is defeated. If one thinks he is impure, then he is impure. If one thinks he is bonded, then he is bonded. If one thinks he is liberated, then surely he can liberate. For this, Srimad has given the 3 mantras, very powerful mantras. You can get the detail of these mantras in my thesis. Now coming to the next slide is finding and scope for the further research. So I found that the poem Apūrva is about realizing the rarity of human birth and self-realization with life events and literature. So there is a clear evidence of the wisdom of Srimad and his role as a guru in guiding lives with events and literature. And again, the followers of the Jainism are well versed with the rituals, are well versed with all the activities doing externally, but they have to also pay the attention to acquiring the right knowledge. Right knowledge is nothing but the Samyak Darshan, because the Samyak Darshan is only the key to reach to the self-realization, to emancipation or to get the Keval Gnan. So this poem will enable the seeker to dispel the ignorance, clarify that perception and tread on the path of moksha. So now talking about the scope for my research. So as you can see, I have worked only on Apūrva also, but there are so many other concepts which are related to the concepts which are there on the works of Srimad Rajchandra, composition Preet has done. So that could be the further research work. Again, I have taken only some selected concepts from Apūrva also. But Jainism being an ocean of knowledge, there are so many other concepts which one can take and do the further research on it. And again, I have taken it from the Jaina perspective. There are so many other perspectives like psychology, sociology, anthropology, so many other perspectives are there for the further research. And finally, as self-realization is a subject of mysticism. So it is because it is totally the experience that one has to do. So even the mysticism can be the one of the subject for the final studies. Thank you. This is my thing. Now I want to, one minute. I want to thank those who have helped me. Let me finish with my acknowledgement. First and foremost, I am thankful to the University of Madras for allowing me to work on the research of my choice, of my interest, which is like, I am into this subject from so many years, and that University has allowed me to take that as my subject. So I am really thankful. And I owe a deep sense of gratitude to Dr. Priyadarshana Gai, who is my research guide. And because of her valuable suggestions, supervisions, encouragement, and continuous, like I've done lots of things from the Priya ma'am from last 7 years. Thank you ma'am for everything. And now next, I'm thankful to my external sir, Mr. S. Manikandan sir, who came all the way just for my Viva, and he's so kind, and really, I in spite of his ill-wellness, his eyes were not, he got some problem in the eyes. Apart from that, he took my thing and he read my thesis. Thank you, sir. Then I would like to give my convey sincere thanks to Dr. Jayantilal Jain. I think so he'll be there with us. I mean, he's always with me. And my mother Nikunj Doshi for providing valuable insight and expertise that greatly guided my research work. I am thankful to all those who helped me during my research work, which includes a member of the Srimad Rajchandra, especially Mr. Jagdish uncle. And then along with that, Geeta Ben, Preeti Ben, Chetna Ben, and so many others, they have really guided me very much during my thesis time. and I am indebted to V. Rajendran sir. Which all books I was not able to get it from Google. He's always there. Yes, ma'am, I'll give it to you. Yes, ma'am, and thank you, Rajendran sir. And Reshma, Trishna, Rajul, all of you, and thank you, Nilkeshi, who have guided, and as they have finished PhD, they have guided me what to do, how to do, and all that things. Thank you, everyone. I am thankful to my husband, Mr. Mayur Shah. I am thankful to my father-in-law, late father-in-law, Mr. Ramesh Shah, and my mother-in-law, Mr. Pravina Bill. And again, because of them only, I am able to do my work. I have been able to take this as a challenge, and because of their help only I could do this. Then I want to give special thanks to my brother Paresh Doshi and my daughter Palak Sukhadia. Because of their constant guidance, constant support, and constant help, I am in this state that I could able to finish my work. Then special thanks to Shobha ma'am and Subhish, who is from the Christianity department, for all these technical things. Like I don't have any knowledge. He is always there with me. He says, ma'am, don't worry. Yesterday he came morning, 7 o'clock from out of station, and he was there here at 9:30 just for my practice. And thank you, Shobha ma'am. Thank you, Subhish. And I am thankful to my son-in-law. I should say my son, Dhyanesh Sukhadia, and all the students of first years, Chanda, Krisha, Jayashri. Thanks all of you for all the other things that they have arranged.
Medium Shesha Ram asked the question that the thesis lack. Does the thesis lack the use of perfect logical terminologies substantiate your And the second question is, why does the Jiva find it difficult to attain Kaivalya? Can you proceed?
Sir, answer the first question. Like, does the thesis lack of perfect terminology?
Logical terminology.
Logical terminology. I have to substantiate that it is asked by some other external examiner. So now, if I tell you, sir, while talking about the perfect terminology, if you ask me, my poem is in Gujarati language, whereas I have written thesis in English. So of course little difference in the language will be there. But while talking about the terminology, logical terminology, I have tried it to bring it to very much parallel to the English language. See, Apūrva is a traditional spiritual poem, traditional metaphysical poem, and with lots of spirituality. And whereas English language does not have that letters, that terminology which I can use exactly. But I have made highest best, my level best attempt to bring that terminology in the perfect way. So with that thing in my mind, I have interpreted it from your point of view also. And if the perfect terminology is not, if the perfect it is not interpreted, then the essence will be lost. So I have done the transliteration. So in that way, I have tried to bring it to the, I have done my level best and to bring it to match with the, because there is a difference in the language, but I have tried my best to bring it to that, and I have given all the critical marks and transliterations I have tried to do. Thank you, sir. That is my question. Now coming to the next question. As it says, while Jiva, it is very difficult for the Jiva to get Kevalna, right? I remember one verse from Apūrva, from Atmasiddhi Shastra. It says, 139 if I am not wrong, it says, Moha bhav kshay hoye jya, athva hoye prashant, te kahiye gyani dasha, baki kahiye bhram. So here, Srimad clearly says that is the moha, that is the delusion of the jiva, which makes the jeev to be in the sansar. See, we have all the access to get all the things. We have access to get family, wealth, money, name, fame, prestige, everything. It is very easy for us to get. But whereas we talk about the spiritual religion, when we talk about the Kevalna, it is the first step is to get the self-realization. And because we have never turned to that side, we have never looked to that point, it is very difficult we are feeling. But actually it is not difficult. It is just the process of 48 minutes to get the cable run. But unless you have the right methodology, right knowledge, right plan, so then it is possible. So it is difficult for the jiva to get the cable done. And the main thing is delusion of the jiva, which is there in the samsara. So jiva is not looking outside and he is doing just the external activities like kriya. So it is difficult. I think so I'm clear.
Actually, no, I was, from each and every page I was looking for some flaw. 300 pages she has written. I thought it's an Herculean task for me to read 300 pages in 10 days. And I have completed mine. Honestly, I have completed that. And I couldn't find even a single flaw in the pieces. Both qualitatively, quantitatively, scientifically, methodologically, whatever way the UGC recommends, I couldn't find any flaw at all. It is flawless pieces, both in English wise, in grammatical wise, in philosophical wise. And it is a real eye-opener for me. So now my perception of Jainism has been totally changed. Now I think that it's an order by itself. Now I have been sailing only in the sand and thinking something about the Jainism. Now I have to powder myself and venture into the sea and see how the Jainism is. That is a great thing that Jayadashna Jain has given me an opportunity to have a different perspective about the religion. Excellent presentation, madam. Before I go into the other details, my suggestion is that take this thesis and publish a lot of articles and in journals and popularize this and sensitize people about this. I think this is a more secular way and everyone should know about it. And the consensus of audience and supervisor and the convener and myself, I think we are all satisfied with the way she presented and the questions she answered. And we can rightly declare her, recommend the Madras University to give our will be addressed as Dr. Preet B. Doshi. Dr.
University of Madras, Department of Jainology and myself, I would like to extend, before I extend the vote of thanks, I would like to congratulate Dr. Preet B. Doshi. It's a very big day for her and all her hard work by the Kripa of Kripaludev has yielded good results, and she should not stop over here. She should take it as a stepping stone for further work, further research, further propagation of this secular poem as Sir has said. So,
काल में जो कलिकाल बोला जाता है, उसमें आत्मा का ज्ञान लेना बहुत महत्वपूर्ण हो तभी हो सकता है। और आत्मा ज्ञान पाना और अंतर में अनुभव करना, ये तो उससे भी ज़्यादा है। और ये मेरी बेटी है करके नहीं, लेकिन कोई भी जीव आत्मज्ञान की प्राप्ति करने की तरफ अग्रसर होता है, उनके लिए मेरे कोटि कोटि वंदन है, कोटि कोटि नमन है। ये काल में मोहनियत इतनी ज़्यादा है कि कोई उसमें से बाहर ही नहीं निकल सकता है। और इसमें से अगर प्रयत्न करके, पुरुषार्थ करके कोई अग्रसर होता है, तो उसका तो भाग्य ही कुछ और है। संसार का कुछ भी हो, उसको साइड में करके अपने आत्मा को पहचानना, यही सबसे महत्वाकांक्षा है और यही करना चाहिए। और इसको तो प्रिया मैम ने बहुत तराशा है, मुझे भी मालूम है, ये भी रोज बताती थी कि प्रिया मैम मुझे ये सिखाते, ये वो करते, तो इतना अच्छा लगता था आपके लिए कि बहुत ही इसको तराशा है आपने और आगे बढ़ाया है, तभी आज ये डॉक्टर का ये पाई है। नहीं तो एक और घर वालों ने सबने इतना उसको ये किया है सपोर्ट, तो ये कर सकी है, नहीं तो घर वाले भी कर नहीं सकते अगर सपोर्ट नहीं हो तो। और आप सब का सपोर्ट इतना अच्छा है कि वो कर सकी है, तो उसके लिए बहुत बहुत आप सबको आभार, बहुत सबका थैंक्स। और ये मेरी बेटी है करके नहीं, लेकिन उसके लिए मुझे बहुत प्राउड है, क्योंकि आत्मा के पहचानने में आगे बढ़ रही है।
અપૂર્વ અવસર એવો ક્યારે આવશે? ક્યારે થઈશું બાયાંતર નિર્ગ્રંથ જો? અપૂર્વ અવસર એવો ક્યારે આવશે? અપૂર્વ અવસર એવો ક્યારે